Okay, wait a minute. What? No, before we get started, I'm gonna say, okay, this is either gonna be the worst live stream, one of the worst live streams, or one of the very best live streams. It's your choice. I'm feeling a little loopy today because, you never know what you're going to get. But you've got a choice. We can do just a regular Q&A and I won't have a topic. Or we can do dentistry. Because of situations, this topic came up. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the choice, right? Q&A, dentistry. It's up to you. Okay, here we go. Here's my nutmeg. We'll get the show going here. Okay, I think that is enough. It's going to take a lot today to get this rolling. Hold on one second. I'm your host, John Townsend, and I welcome you into the Nutmeg Tavern. It is Friday afternoon, and we try to do this every Friday afternoon. We open up the doors of the tavern so everyone can come in and enjoy themselves in an atmosphere of whatever the atmosphere is here. It can be jovial and serious. It can be calming or the opposite. But we're here to talk about things 18th century. And some of those things are fun and some of them are scary. I'm usually joined by Ryan, but the bar is closed. There is no Ryan behind the bar today, and that's because Ryan is under the weather. He has had a health issue that I think every human at some point or another in their lifespan, and many times often in their life has had to deal with, and that is tooth pain and dentistry issues. We are plagued with mouths that are full of things that cause us issues, problems. Our teeth. If we are blessed with sound teeth that never cause us problems in our life, we are a rare beast indeed, aren't we? So we have a choice. We can talk about, I've got some great, fun dentistry images, and I have some dentistry readings from the 18th century and 19th century. But again, that's up to you. Now, as I said, I was John Townsend, and I said that Ryan is missing. I am joined, though, luckily today. He wasn't going to be here, but he came in just for us. Yes. Aaron is behind the console.
Hey, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Do you want to read some results real quick from this poll?
I'm willing to hear what the populace has said.
We probably should have, I should have put in the poll, dental care, parentheses, pictures and all.
Yeah.
And Q&A. Maybe it would have been different, but here it is so far. 220 votes, 78% dental care, 22% Q&A. So commence.
I am so proud of you folks. I mean, you have braved this out, and you're willing to go with me on this little adventure, this oral health care adventure. And it's a serious and really, really good topic because, we all want to deal with it. And we get a lot of questions in the live stream. People talking about, did they brush their teeth? What did they use? It's one of those topics where you almost don't want to know. You're curious. It's like, no, I'm really curious, but no, maybe I don't want to know. Well, I think dentistry is just a just a great fun topic. I got a couple of books that popped up. One of them was 19th century, 1801, and the other one's a little earlier. This one is a treatise on the teeth, 1752. Now, there are different kinds of writings, and just like anything else in the time period, there are extremely serious writings, and in the medical profession, many of those times they're written in Latin, and my medical Latin, 18th century medical Latin, is lacking. So, I usually go for the things written in English, and those are generally more written for the layman, but still very, very illustrative and educational. So this little pamphlet here, a pretty short piece, like 70 pages or something like that, cost of 1 shilling, seemingly a typical price for a smallish pamphlet-y book in the time period, 1752, and a lot of, it's like you would think that they might have some very, very silly and stupid thoughts, uneducated thoughts about what was going on with teeth and what caused problems and what didn't. But 1752, and here we are writing. This one's kind of a mix and mixed up section here. Too great a use of vegetables, as also the flesh of pork, salted meats, salt fish, cheese, etc., may be prejudicial, or must be prejudicial, as they all produce a bad chyle. I don't know what he's trying to do. So bad something, right? All kinds of sweetmeats and sugars contribute very much to the destruction of teeth, because their gluey juice is insinuated into the gums and sticks to the teeth. Besides, sugars are of an acidic penetrant and a corrosive nature. And by a chemical analysis, we see that the effects will sooner or later be pernicious. Yes. 'Tis also remarkable that those people who make great use of this poison, oh yeah, he's not cutting anything, are more subject to toothache and loss of their teeth sooner than others. Those who love sugar and use it frequently are seldom remarkable for handsome teeth, and are very rarely good ones. This is particularly exemplified in Holland of the 18th century. The inhabitants thereof, especially the women, are great tea drinkers, and in their manner somewhat particular. For instead of sweetening each dish with loaf sugar, as in England, they hold a piece of sugar candy in their mouths, which frequently serves 6 or 8 dishes before being dissolved, which inevitably produces those effects to which they are so subject, vis-a-vis the loss and ruin of their teeth. For 'tis rare to find a Dutch woman of 30 years of age with a good set of teeth. For this reason, after eating sugar or anything that contains much sugar in its composition, it will be necessary to rinse the mouth with warm water to dissolve and wash away those parts which would stick to the gums and teeth. Actually, pretty darned good advice, if you ask me. Really, really interesting, because if you, so he's talking about folks in Holland here and their method of drinking tea, especially in the morning. And we'll find out, or we have found out in the past from journals, that tea method of drinking goes right into New York. Very, very typical of those folks in New York, in North America, in the 18th and 19th century. Those tea drinking habits go right into North America. So I don't know of whether folks still do that today, whether that's a common thing in different parts of the country or different parts of the world for that matter. But the idea, instead of putting sugar directly into your tea or coffee, that you put it in your mouth and drink your coffee or tea through it. So sort of getting that sugar that way. Thought it was very interesting. 'Tis necessary likewise to avoid chewing or breaking any hard bodies as nuts, cherry stones, etc., biting off the ends of thread or silk, lifting up great weights with your teeth. I don't know who lifts up great weights with their teeth, other than that one guy who used to like pull trains. You ever see that? It's like 19th century or 20th century, and he would like pull a train with his teeth. Anyway, he advises against that. Picking them with instruments of gold, silver, or any other metal by which they may be either loosened or lost, or other such idle and pernicious practices. So they do talk about the idea of picking your teeth. That that's for some people a very common thing to do. They would pick their teeth a lot, and it's like, don't do that. You know, so some people were really not thinking that picking your teeth a lot was good, especially not with metal instruments, but even with wood, you would be hurting your teeth. Excessive smoking of tobacco is very injurious. He goes on to there. Now this I thought was great. Now we're still in 1752. Too much sleep, too much watching. Watching, it doesn't say. Too sedentary of life or too laborious of one contribute not a little to the preservation or to the ruin of the teeth. So you got to be careful. I'm not sure how much too much sleep or too much watching. Watching, maybe he means television, but he's only reading into the future. Too much watching something, we're not sure what. Too sedentary of life, too laborious of one, they mess up your teeth. Let's see, children should have good quality milk for their teeth. That sounds like pretty smart stuff. Now, people ask about brushing your teeth. So this one, or is it a different book? So both of these things, 1752, 1801. Oh, that's good. I'll save that. Hold on. Just wait
Save it for later.
Yeah, we're getting to something. Oh, anyway.
Right.
Too great a use of dentifric powder or dentifrice powders serves chiefly to the destruction as they use or wear off the part of most importance to the preservation of the enamel or vitreous substance of the teeth. There is a real problem with people brushing their teeth in the middle of the 18th century. In that, they're brushing their teeth, but they're grinding away the surface. Their powder that they're using, the toothpaste, as it were, the day, was so coarse, and it would just grind away the enamel, and they were having a real problem with that. So, so I'm going to give you guys a break. Jump in.
I think I have a few super chats to do, but first point of order
Yes.
is hit the like button.
Yeah.
That really helps with the algorithm. And
This one's going to need it, guys.
Yeah. We might get canceled for this one. And we really appreciate that. It's just super helpful. The channel's been doing great lately, and that's because of your viewership and liking and sharing. So yeah, that's super helpful. So right now it's like 81% dental care, but there was someone in the chat, can't remember who said it. They said keep the poll up, and we'll see if it starts to change as the pictures come
as
in.
we get to pictures,
might not be so overwhelming. Let's do these super chats, and so far these are just shout outs, so we can get through them quick, no questions. Thomas Kim, thank you, says love the channel. Zach, thank you. Give this money to Ryan's mouth.
Thank you.
Heather Torrey, thank you. Now that I am back to the office, it's harder to be here on time. Glad I made it. This is an interesting topic. Denise Maloney Piran, thank you. Says, gross us out. We are ready. Celestial Tease, thank you. Happy Friday. Just wanted to share that I once had a dentist named Dr. Payne, Payne. Thankfully, he was a nice guy. That is something to be thankful for.
There was a local dentist here. It was Dr. Holler.
Dr. Holler.
Yeah.
MD Smith, thank you. Says thank you for all the great content. Speaking of great content, we have 2 videos in the hopper that I am very excited about. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are we
We're
ready?
Yeah.
Let's look. We're gonna leave some of this. We're gonna go to pictures. Let's do it. Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't look that bad.
No, not yet.
Not yet, right?
I'd say the best for last. Yeah, probably. This is 17th century Dutch painting. One of the more kind of primitive ones, but they loved these images that were a more homey genre paintings, very, very life-oriented paintings. And we get the dentist, or maybe he's just now. Dentistry isn't happening just by dentists in the 18th century. In fact, they didn't really have dentists. So the barber surgeon might do the work on your teeth. A surgeon might do it. You maybe would have somebody who did vet work, or possibly a butcher. Different kinds of people sort of stepped into dentistry, and sometimes they sort of specialized in it. Now we're going to see them working. Now notice there's a lot of people in this 18th century time period, probably a lot of special sort of mountebanks and quacksalvers of the time period that would do tooth pulling via their fingers alone, which I think maybe is more like a good thing, right?
What was his name? Quack?
A quacksalver.
Yeah, I don't want to go
so
to
it's
quack.
like quacksalver is like a untrained doctor who's using a lot of strange, not very reputable methods, right? So we see this a lot, though. Here he's working on the tooth. He's just using his fingers. He doesn't have a tool. You can see the hand coming around, holding the person. If we really saw that picture right, he would probably almost have him in a headlock, because he's really holding this guy down so that he can, do the work of pulling out the tooth. And we'll see some images as we can continue to go on here. We don't see any assistants here, and we see obviously a very worried wife, child who's probably like, hey, what's going on? And the people who are undergoing this, they're all sort of, it's like, I want it to happen, I don't want it to happen. It's sort of like the person who's doing the dentistry has to, it's like, no, come on in, sit down, and he put his arm around him real quick and do the job. He might even be pinching him really, really hard so that he's not thinking about what's going on with his tooth, but something else. Go ahead. So here we've got an assistant, and he's sort of, holding him down with one, holding him with one arm so he doesn't, either, no, I don't want this to happen, or try to get away, or, move when he shouldn't. But you obviously see, now this person doesn't look like he's pulling yet. He's just sort of poking around, maybe trying to find the right tooth to pull, because, it's not good to pull the wrong one.
Yeah.
And I mean, the person really can't tell unless you tell them. So
You don't
I
wanna
guess
hear
it's
him
like,
go, oh, whoops.
yeah, you got to poke around to find the right one there. And we see in this image, and this is an early 18th century image by the clothing that we see here, maybe 1700, 1710, maybe late 17th century. But we have spectators, which is a common occurrence. Now, if I was having somebody, today, when I go to the dentist, I don't want an audience.
Yeah, it's kind of like a HIPAA violation. Like everybody.
It could be that way. Maybe that's how you get the fee less. I don't know, but it's like, we won't charge as much. Yeah, because maybe they charge like admission.
Turn it into a show. Maybe you get part of the cut of the admission.
Maybe.
All right, get paid to get your tooth pulled.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I love this image. This is just, man, the characters that we have here. The person who's drawing the tooth. Now, I'm drawn to all sorts of things in this image. Obviously, there's all kinds of caricature going on. We have the person who's drawing the tooth. He doesn't look too serious, but I'm drawn immediately to his clothing. He's got a short jacket, which I wear all the time. I love short jackets. It's even got those little slash cut sleeves. He's got a 2-button collar, which is common at the time period. He's wearing a worker's kind of cap or turban on his head because he's working and he doesn't need anything getting in his eyes, so he's got to wear something that doesn't get in his face. We have the onlooker, which is very, very common in these images. We have the lady who's undergoing this operation. Obviously, she doesn't have very many teeth. Maybe this is the last one to go. And he's using these giant pliers. But it looks like he's pulling straight out, which is good. We'll cover that later on. We've got her wearing a head cloth, and her hair is kind of up. We can't tell exactly what's going on, but she's got a cloth cap, and in her hand is her straw hat, and she's mashing it because obviously she probably wants to grab the guy's neck, but anyway, she's squeezing her hat and mushing it all out of shape. And I almost expect her to be, holding onto the chair, but she's an old woman. She's got a cane here, and she doesn't have very many teeth left. The last one's going out. But she's undergoing this because this is a very painful thing. Notice the onlooker. Look at his teeth. He's like missing the 3 or 4 front bottom teeth. So
the dentist has all his.
Yeah, but he's there smiling away, yep. Right? So here's some false teeth. Now, these are not 18th century. These are actually very, very early teeth. These are Etruscan and maybe like BC kind of false teeth. But I saw these as I was searching for images, and I thought, oh, these are just too good to pass up. So false teeth of the 18th century were made of all sorts of things. We know about, George Washington and his wooden teeth, right? But they made teeth out of all kinds of crazy stuff, like horse teeth and different things. So these may be or something like, filed down horse teeth or something else, or ivory, or any different kind of bone material that they might have that they sort of form up and have some kind of tooth. And obviously you can see from this circumstance that this was a partial. He probably had plenty of other teeth to anchor these teeth too, so they had this gold band they would wrap around there and clamp it down. And yeah, we've got something like that going on in the 18th century. I don't know if it was this cool looking, but go on to the next one. It's a real similar one. Yeah, this one, check that one out. Now, notice here that that the tooth goes down so that it was made to go into the socket left behind by a tooth that was pulled. Oh yeah, you think that's strange? It isn't strange. No. So again, this material formed all up out of some odd material and then, placed into the mouth, and these other strips were wrapped around other pieces of tooth. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Ready?
Yeah. Yes. So we have a multiple things here. Here he is a Quacksilver person. He's doing multiple different kinds of medical things. So we can see his little chest behind there. It's got lots of different sorts of drugs and things, but he's not just doing patent medicines of the 18th century, 17th century here. But he's also, it's like, oh, I can do your teeth too. Sure, no problem. And he's dressed very well. His patient, if you call it that, or victim, here is a poor person. He's only got his shirt on. He might be sitting on his jacket. But obviously he's taken that off so that, he's letting this thing happen to him. He doesn't look too happy, but a very, very similar pose to that early one. He's got a hand down around one side, sort of holding the head, and then he's, it looks like he's got a tool in his hand. He's not doing it with his fingers, but he's found the right kind. Notice, it's like it looks uncomfortable, right? So the doctor in this case, for lack of a better term, the performer in this case, he's up on sawhorses. He's got his own little stage, and the person is sitting on it. And in one of these readings later on, they talk about the position that you have to get in to sort of get to these teeth and the best way to do it.
Is that like a demon in the background?
No, it's a monkey.
It's a monkey.
It's a monkey. Yeah,
oh,
so
it looked like it had a hoof.
Well, remember, this is it's just his little monkey paw hanging out there.
It. All right.
So this is a lot of performance. If we had a bigger blow up of this image, or images like this, and we will see some more, this generally is done in public, and there are lots of people watching. So this is a performance, and he's like doing a thing. He's talking to people, and then, somebody says, yeah, I'll have my tooth out. And the guy comes up on the stage, and, it's like if a magic show is like, I need somebody from the audience, And that's what he's like, oh, I'll draw someone's tooth. Watch me. I'll do it in less than 3 seconds, And the guy comes up, and whoo, out comes his tooth.
Ready?
Now, oh gosh, this is bad, guys. This is bad, and it's covered in these books too. We see here the two people off on the extreme left here. Is that left for you guys? I think so. They're holding their face, and they're in rags. And then we see the person seated. That's all dark. They're in the very center of the image. That is a chimney sweep child. Somebody who's been chimney sweeping all day. Very, very dangerous occupation that they had children do because they could fit inside the chimneys. You can see his flue brush down by his hat. And what they're doing here is these dentists, one dentist is pulling teeth out of these poor people, children, and putting them into these rich people, right? So you're a rich person. One of your teeth has gone bad because you've been eating so much sugar that they turn black and fall out. And so you go to the dentist, and the dentist says, oh yeah, we can put a new tooth in there for you. I'll have some poor kid come in and we'll jerk his tooth out and jam it in your head. I'm telling you, that's what they were doing. Okay, so if that isn't disgusting enough, right? That you're, pulling teeth out of poor people, and, it's like, today people might sell their blood or something, but there in the 18th century, you were selling your own teeth. They might also, maybe if you didn't have enough money, they would put dead people's teeth in your head instead of, poor people's teeth. Okay.
Yep.
I think we've had enough of that.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, much better.
Yes, here we go. Another one of these mountebanks. Now this one doesn't have a monkey over there. He's got a clown. He's got a clown performer. That's like helping him out, holding the guy down. And we could see like his little display up there. I'll pull your teeth. This guy, like a whole, like a billboard behind him. It's like, yeah, I pull teeth out of people's head. And then we have these big fake teeth hanging up with red roots. I mean, who's gonna say, as your display, oh yeah, he's the guy I want to have pull my teeth. So there's the poor person getting their teeth pulled out by the crazy, well-dressed, he's even got a sword on. And then we see the people down in the audience. There's the person with the giant swollen face and the thing tied around their head. Yes, they tied things around their head to help relieve the pain.
Oh, that guy's probably up next.
Yeah.
Oof.
And they're willing to watch the show and say, yeah, whatever, let's do it. Let's get this over with. Dentistry in the time period was a whole lot of tooth pulling. You know, it's like, well, you know, we think of extraction as the last bastion of dentistry, but you know, that's like number one. Very rarely was there like something else they would do, but some of these do cover other things. Not like they only did extraction. What do you think, Aaron?
I think we can do some super chats real quick, and then I see the one coming up, and it's a real doozy.
Maybe we'll get to some reading before we go there.
Okay, all right. Where did we leave off? Trey Mormon, thank you. What's your favorite movie that's about the 18th century? Mine is The Patriot. I'm biased because I'm a veteran.
There, yeah.
Tiny Shiny Crumb. Any word on collaboration with Tasting History? I would love to see Max back on the channel. Thanks for all that you do. The Only Lioness, I believe. Townsends must be psychic. Yesterday I had a major full mouth dental work with anesthesia. Oof. Keltoid 5, thank you. Very nice donation. Work has been quite silly these days. Just want to stop by and say have a round on me. Cheers. Thank you so much. Alan, thank you. Hope Ryan feels better. Hopefully he hasn't been using the 18th century methods to clean his teeth. Marsha Jackson, I should have voted for the Q&A. Yeah. Rob Dixon, thank you. Another great live stream. Watching with my daughter, driving through this crazy weather.
Yeah.
She wondered what people paid for these services. Ooh, good question. And then Max are cool, thank you. This episode is killer, and it's also making my teeth hurt.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And again, make sure to hit the like button. Thanks for doing that, and it's really helpful.
My favorite 18th century movie is going to be Master and Commander. We talked about it in the past, and the books that it's based off of, I cannot recommend more. You know, even though they're set in Napoleonic times, Patrick O'Brien was an amazing student and a studier of the 18th century and 19th century. And for an author to go that far back, and you also get a feel for, you know, as he goes through his books, he's continually learning. And, you know, sometimes he'll have a different kind of bent, especially if you're interested in medical things. And even dentistry pops up in that whole series of books, the sort of Master and Commander series. Boy, Patrick O'Brien does a great job, and can't recommend the books enough for understanding the 18th century. Yes, it's historical fiction, but he does a tremendous job, and very rarely have I ever read anything in there that I went, wait a minute. And when I did, and I went deeper, he had it. He nailed it. So, boy, love that Master and Commander.
Right now, currently, it is free on YouTube with ads.
There you go.
Go check it out.
Check it out, Master and Commander. Just tremendous job they did with that movie, and the books are killer. 21, well, almost 21. The 21, the last book he died in the process, so there's only like 3 chapters of it, but tremendous series.
Go watch it. Tell them that Townsends sent
tell
you.
them that Townsends sent you.
Leave a comment on the Master and Commander movie.
Excellent idea. Good catch there,
yeah.
Aaron. So, where are we at?
Somebody wanted to know what people paid for those services.
Right. So I think it's in back of this book. So this one is a 1752. I'm gonna skip.
Oh,
ahead.
real quick. I missed one.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. This is from, where'd you go? It's from Michael Miranda. Thank you. My wife and I love your videos, which has inspired us to become involved with 18th century reenactment. That's awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent.
Sorry, I
Very good.
passed that one up.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes. A treatise on the human teeth, 1801, and it's got some writings by Mitchell, who's very, very famous in sort of American scientific and medical circles in the late 18th century. One of the last pages here is established fees. Now it starts off with setting artificial eyes, nose, ears, artificial flexible leg, let's see, a common cork leg, transplanting a tooth which grows firm in the head. So the cost of getting a tooth transplanted. So probably from one of those young children that waifs off the street. Hey kid, you want to make $10? You know, get in here. 3 guineas. That's 3 gold coins. That's a lot of money.
To get your tooth pulled?
No, to have another one implanted in your head.
3 guineas?
Somebody else's tooth, probably, yes. So 3 guineas. Grafting or setting human teeth in any way on gold, 4 guineas. Fixing or setting the best artificial teeth on gold springs or pivots. So we saw that gold thing with those, even though that wasn't 18th century, kind of gives us some ideas. $1 or 50 cents. So very, very cheap compared to having a tooth implanted. Grafting or setting, anyway, artificial teeth of second quality, $1 each. Grafting or setting third quality. It's like that. It's like, oh, you want the teeth made out of ivory or bone or wood? We just paint it white. You know, it's like it's like keeps going down there. Let's see, the third quality, 50 cents. You know, fourth quality, $1. So no, yeah, it's like, okay. Filling or eradicating cavities or rotten parts, because they didn't know what caries were. Filling a cavity with silver or lead foil. I find interesting. So the filling material that, when I was a kid, they grind up silver and mercury together, make a mercury amalgam, and it kind of made this sort of weird gooey cement stuff. They'd mix that mercury, which is liquid, with silver and pack that together. Hopefully nobody's still doing that, but they still haven't said it was bad for you. Anyway, this they made a lead foil or a silver foil. So can you imagine like crumpling up tin foil? I mean, I think that could work. So that made it so that you could, it would crumple up into the thing and fill up the spaces. That's an interesting concept. So filling a cavity with silver, I'll go for the silver foil, not the lead foil, probably cost you a little bit extra, 50 cents each. Filling a cavity with gold, $1. So it costs twice as much to have gold filled into your teeth. I don't know if they use gold foil because it doesn't say. Extracting teeth abroad. I don't know what the abroad means. We're just going to say extracting teeth, $1 each. Oh, here we go. That means, no, I still don't know. Oh yeah, okay. So I think this means that if he comes to your house, he'll charge you $1. For extracting teeth in his own house. So if you come to the dentist his house, 50 cents. And children's teeth, half off. Extracting or eradicating the tartar or cleaning the teeth from $1 to $8 each set in proportion to their situation. Very, very interesting. Isn't that interesting? That, you would get your teeth, one tooth pulled for 50 cents, or getting the tartar cleaned off your teeth, which they were doing? Isn't that really cool? It's like today, it's like, oh, you got to come in twice a year to have the teeth cleaned. They're doing exactly the same thing in 1801. And they're charging some pretty good money for it. $1 to $8 each set. I guess it depends on how many you got in there. If you've had most of them pulled, maybe, doesn't cost as much. Really, really interesting. I love that. It's the very end of the book. It's like, oh yes, I love books like that. They're so helpful. So, here is that, we're going to go back to 1752 here, because that was that question. Wait a minute. Stop, everybody. We're going to do these Patreon. every week I try to get to new people on Patreon, PayPal, Townsends Plus. People support us and what we do on the channel in any number of ways. Some folks, I mean, it's just tremendous if you just watch our videos. That is actually very, very helpful. YouTube loves it. And the more people that watch a video, the more people get to see it, right? They just keep, showing it to more people. So if you show interest in the videos we have, then more people get to see them. So thank you. If that's what you can do, thank you, thank you. Other people help us in more ways than that. Super Chat is one of those great ways to help us. And some people want to kind of more directly help us. Patreon is one of those ways you can support us a little bit amount each month. The new people this week, Chris White, M. Kennedy, Richard Taylor, and Jeffrey Coburn. There are something like 800 or 900 people that help us that way. So thank you for supporting us on Patreon. Some people, hey, I'd rather just give it, like a one-time thing. Here's PayPal. And there's a PayPal address down in the description section. And the nice thing about PayPal is it's got a much smaller margin. So best bang for the buck is PayPal. Christopher Ford, thank you. You're in there regularly, so much so. Even though, I mentioned the brand new people on Patreon, I did want to go way back and find some of the oldest people on Patreon and call them out. Thank you, Leslie Spivey, Sandy Hoskin, Lisa Fittenhoff, and Robert Gerhardt. You've been there forever supporting us, and you just keep on doing it. That is massive. Thank you for what you do. And the brand new people on Townsends Plus. Townsends Plus is a platform that's outside of YouTube that is got extra content on it, and it's this amazing way you can support us and get extra content at the same time. The brand new people on Townsends Plus, Ashley H., Katrina L., Nina S., Tom G., Mariki S., I'm sorry if I get that pronunciation wrong, Rich B., and Colt G. You guys are superstars. Thank you for being on Townsends Plus. So many ways to support us, and all those things make it possible for us to do crazy content like we would never be able to do if we didn't have these ways, like going out to do this beer video, which is just gonna be a killer video.
Yep.
Aaron's working on that, so wow. Okay. Whew.
So we got about 15, maybe even less. Do we want to?
Let's go to the images. Let's do it. Let's go right to it. So more of these great, now check this out. Notice the guy is tied up.
Jeez.
It's like, oh yeah, I need to take out this tooth. Hold on, let me get out the rope and tie you to the chair. Oh man. And I love the guy's look. Hold on, I'll get this out. And he seems, love this image. Love it.
This whole doing it as a show is new to me. I did not know this was a thing.
You imagine? Line up.
Yeah.
We're going to pull another tooth. So, check this out. So, there's the guy in the front. He's playing an instrument, like a musical accompaniment. Then the guy pulling the guy's tooth. And then, there's a person on the lady on the side here. I think she's probably taking the money, right? It's like, yeah, come on in, $5. And then behind them is the puppet show theater for after and before the show. So, hey kiddies, we're gonna have a puppet show, and then in 10 or 15 minutes, then we're gonna pull some teeth. It's gonna be great. Wow. Now, if you didn't know this was part of dentistry, you might think he was being attacked on the street, but no, it's dentistry. I think the position of the patient is very innovative, but I don't think it would fly today in the dentist office. Because it's easier to get your foot on the guy's chest, so you can really give it a good pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like he's getting jumped for sure.
This is early 19th century. The shoes are tie shoes, and we've got people wearing breeches, striped stockings. Early 19th century, late 18th century. The dentist, check out the back pocket of his coat. He's got a little hammer in there. He's got pliers in his back pocket, within easy reach, like his bat utility belt. He's gonna have his tools right there at hand. I'm surprised he doesn't have a little. Anyway, he's got a foot on the chair so he can get a better a hand on the shoulder so he can give a good pull. We have things going on in the background. I don't know. There's this picture of a foot. Which means he might do other work. He might work on he might cut corns or something. I mean, he probably does a couple of different things. Multiple skills in this guy. It's dead center. What's going on? There's a dog howling. We can hear the room, can't we? The artist has given us the sounds of the room. The dog howling, the person screaming, the dentist is probably grunting where he's pulling the teeth, and the other people groaning in the background. We can hear it and see it all in the image. Amazing artist. Oh, yeah, I think it reminds me of that image of the lady in that one. So again, the artist here, the expression on the person having the tooth pulled, and I like the detail on the dentist, if that's what we're going to call him here, the operator. We'll call him that. The operator's hand with the veins popping out, like he's gripping, and pulling really hard. Again, we see the two buttons on the shirt collar, but it's a band collar shirt. So I'm looking at all the things. I mean, the hats, the guy's haircut, the great face we have on the operator, and seems like, another, like everybody's smiling, but the guy with the pliers in his mouth. Wow. Okay, so. And I'll try to find this spot in the book here, but we'll find it. Now this is a tooth key, a little device here where we look at a device like this. Now this is a drawing, beautiful drawing, almost as like photographic, beautiful of the time period. It's forged iron with a wooden handle. Some of them had like ivory handles. And this is a little hinged part at the end, has a little grippy thing, so you can sort of wrap it around the tooth. Now you might think, I don't know, how did they really use this? Well, let's find out.
Next one.
Yeah. So there's this great book from 1844, 1830, and we get a picture of what's going on. So you stick that thing down in your mouth, you find the old rotten tooth, which is pretty darned obvious in this case because, well, it looks darned rotten. And you wrap it around that tooth and you just kind of keep going and out it comes. Wow. I'm so glad they gave us those illustrations. You can be done with that. We're done with that for now. So, here we go. Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, here we go. This is from the Treatise on the Human Tooth, 1801. Very similar time period than that image we just saw. The various construction and situation of the teeth require instruments of various forms applicable to their construction and situation. The judicious, experienced operator is abundantly supplied with these instruments, that is. And when a case occurs that requires his professional assistance, he knows how to select and apply such as are adapted to the case advantageously. On the contrary, the uninformed would-be operator seldom possesses or knows the use of any other instrument than the common turnkey. So what you saw there in that image was a turnkey, which he applies in all cases with his Herculean strength, murderously turns out either some part of the tooth or a large piece of jawbone, and too frequently 2 or 3 sound teeth. A tooth ought invariably to be drawn in the direction of its own axis, or in other words, in a straight direction from its natural situation, which gives but little pain and obviates accidents. So the problem with the tooth key is it's made to twist out the tooth, whereas what we really want to do is pull out the tooth in the same axis as its roots, as it were. And there's other talk here about the roots, the idea that it's really, really difficult when, it's a little easier with the tooth key and it's got the single rooted tooth. So we have the teeth that have 1 root and the teeth that have 2 roots. Why do we have teeth that are different like that? I mean, who came up with this idea that we should have some teeth that have 1 little thing and 2, and some that are bigger and need to have 2 roots?
All I know is people are saying I should have voted differently. I have some super chats to get through before we sign off. Or do you think we've covered it?
There's more, baby, but we can be done. It's all right. I'll let you off the hook.
Part 2 coming soon.
Gosh.
Okay. Speed and Style Tony, thank you. The YouTube channel Glenn and Friends made a reference to Townsends in one of their vids the other day promoting one of your cookbooks. Right on.
Thank you.
Check that out. John Talley, thank you. Completely off-topic question. How did the French and Indian War have an effect on America in relation to leading to the Revolutionary War? Was there any relation at all? William Blesser, did they administer alcohol to kids for dentistry? The Only Lioness again. Public thanks to my dentist. He just called to see how I was doing. Right on.
Hey, that's a good dentist.
That is a good dentist.
Excellent.
John Talley, thank you. Did everyone have funky teeth back then, or was proper dental care possible? Denise Maloney Pirin, I already dread the dentist. This did not help. I voted wrong. Have a great weekend. Phil, thank you. My best to Ryan, and thanks to Aaron for coming in. You did a great job. John, love the show. Thank you. Yes.
Denise, now think about this. Think about how much better our dentists are today. Even if you probably have the worst dentist ever, it's still like, compared to dentists of the 18th century. So think of it that way. We've done a service to all dentists today by pointing out how horrible it was in the 17th and 18th century. So back to the questions. F&I War leading to Revolutionary War, massive impact. So Great Britain, after doing all this work of supporting the colonies and protecting them from the invading horrible French, whatever, of the 1750s, they said, we need to tax you on like playing cards and writing paper and da-da-da-da-da. We need to tax you up to 1%. Can you imagine? And the colonists said, what? And so happens, okay, it's simplified, but yes, the French and Indian War has a massive impact on what happens 20 years later. And, a lot of times that happens, sort of like a 20-year thing. There's that time period between the First World War and the Second World War. One leads to the other. There's gap and something happens and da-da-da. So French and Indian War, gap, 20 years later, yep, bam. We have a generational thing going on there. People forget. We got a whole new series of young people that have a different idea. And we have people who fought in the First War, and they are the leaders in the Second War. So it's very, very, there's a whole bunch of impact. Okay, next question. Alcohol, did they give alcohol to children in the 18th century for, more than likely. They could afford it if it was part of the deal. Alcohol and children, that was not a verboten topic. In the United States, we're very, very, like children and alcohol. It was not like that in the 18th century. I'm not judging here, right? I'm not saying we shouldn't do that, but they didn't in the 18th century. So for ill or for good, and mostly probably for ill, children were not that was not a massive restriction. They probably didn't think it was a good thing, most people, but it didn't mean they didn't do it. Funky teeth. Did lots of people have funky teeth in the 18th century? It's hard to say. If you read deeper in here, there are certainly dentists of the time period that have good ideas. 1801, there's some good advice here about how people should take care of their teeth and the bad things that are happening to them. So was there scientific knowledge to have good teeth? Yes, and undoubtedly some people did have good teeth, and there are other people that had horrid teeth. We did it. We did it, guys. We made it through it. You're still here, right? Are some people still here?
Well,
did we lose everyone?
No, the dental care took a little dip. It's down to 78%, but I still think that's a good number. Yeah,
I think it's good to know just how horrible it was in the 18th century. I mean, I can look forward. Okay, no, I won't say that. I can less be scared of going to the dentist knowing that, in most respects, they're actually pretty thoughtful about what they're doing, and they really don't want it to be a painful, horrible experience. I'm glad I'm not the dentist. How would you like to have a job where everybody that comes in to see you is in pain, and you're not sure you can really alleviate it completely? A dentist is a hard job. So I respect dentists a lot, especially after digging deeply into 18th century dentistry. Thank you guys so much for coming into the Nutmeg Tavern today and helping us out and, being in there and, fighting for this topic. It took a lot of effort to really want to go through this, and you stuck with me. So thank you so much. And all the great supporters, Patreon, Super Chat, the folks who buy merch on the website. You guys make it happen. You make it possible for us to dig as deep as we do and walk in the shoes of people in the 18th century so that we can understand today and how much better it is than it was 250 years ago. And then sometimes you look back there and you say, hey, that was pretty good. Dentistry is not one of those things. Thank you to Ryan, who's usually here, but he's enduring the dental pain. Thank you for Aaron, who comes in special today just for this live stream. He was at home doing other kinds of work, and he came in just for this. So thank him, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your amazing support. I hope you have a massively great weekend, and I hope your teeth don't